What's up, everybody? Clint Esposito here with the Clint Esposito Show. I am going to talk about dirt bikes at Kona Skatepark. So I didn't even realize. So I've been searching. I actually did Built to Shred at Kona in 2009. And I hadn't been able to find that episode for the longest time. Finally found it like a year or two ago. I put some clips up. I didn't even realize until like probably a week or two ago that Josh Hill had gone to Kona and actually ridden it as well. So I feel like I'm uniquely qualified to talk about how awesome he rode Kona Skate Park. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to switch on over to this screen, and I got some clips pulled up.
Skate park. Kona's been here since '77, and it's the longest surviving privately owned skate park in the world.
All right, here we go. Here's Josh coming in, shredding from the yard. This is like the main little front section, I guess. So, yeah, tying in that nice tabletop, the tombstone down there. Here I am, in the rain, trying to be like Josh Hill before Josh Hill was like Josh Hill. So it's also super slick. As you can see, there was actually like feet of water down there and all the bowls and stuff. Also, I'm not a Supercross nearly champion. I never won any Supercrosses. So now we're gonna go back to the man shredding the Kona on the electric bike. I love the electric bike in here. It seems like the perfect mix, right? The electric bike and the concrete skate park. So, and I'll show you. I did some of this. We did that. We didn't gap up to it, and we certainly didn't manual off of it. And like I said, it was mostly wet most of the time here, but like I said, Josh is hitting. Oh, now it makes sense to me. So I was watching it earlier, and I'm like, that doesn't look like it. Looked like it changed, but it didn't change. So here's us basically measuring it. It was 30 feet. So that's me jumping the same gap there for Built to Shred. Now here's this tabletop in the front. This was actually my favorite little jump there because it was most like a ramp. This is me jumping over him, doing a dead body on it. A small dead body, albeit. But all this stuff is deceiving. So like the first jump that you saw where we crossed the gap, that one, the face of that thing is like 12 feet tall and it's pretty much vertical. It's like a concrete skate bowl. And then that second one, that little tabletop that he was doing, when I first was watching this, I was like, they definitely changed that because the landing looks bigger. But it's definitely deceiving from this video because I started watching the clips of me doing it as well, and I'm like, no, the landing looks the same. It's even kind of painted the same. But that landing felt like you had to like back wheel case it to actually end up on the downside. And also on all of these transitions, I know that I popped about, I think we popped collectively 2 tubes probably within the first like 5 minutes. And then I went back to the truck and I pumped our tires up real hard because those little knuckles at the top of this stuff, remember this stuff's made for skateboards. So all the stuff is super tight, tops and bottoms, like all the transitions into them. That's why that little table that I was doing the pendulums and tiny dead body on, or attempt of dead body, was the most smooth transition into it, like a regular kind of ramp would be. The rest of them were very, very steep and very abrupt at the bottom. But this is sweet. A manual across that thing, like that's a pretty big gap off of it. This is us doing it. We put a ramp up to it. and then gapped off. And at first I started gapping to the corner, and then eventually we started really giving it the juice and going all the way down to the Kona flag there at the end. But there he did little nose, well, not that one, the one before that. That wasn't quite as sweet. That jump he just did there was sick. I didn't see that. There's a lot of stuff now watching him. Like, I didn't see that. This was also, okay, here, watch my little, this is a little drop in. We put a ramp, of course, and then nose wheelie. See, did you see that? Did you see that? Do I need to go back? I was attempting, this is 2009, okay? This is my best attempt. Here it is. Skirt, little teeny nose wheel, 2009. I inspired all this stuff. So here's a pendulum over that table. And like I said, you basically have to hook your back wheel up on the knuckle kind of to get the rest of your bike into that landing. It's pretty steep. All this stuff is deceiving on here. It looks way mellower. Here. And the one time I did jump that, and I cased it real hard. And you can see how down here where it's a blue, how it's like still wet. So I cased the little tabletop thing. And luckily I was able to get myself leaned left. So I put my foot on the brake and I put my left foot down. And I just skidded myself up that tombstone. Because at first I cased it and I was like, oh no, I'm going to like whiskey through this tombstone and go about 100 feet tall. Or high. But I did not. I slid it up it and I turned out of it. Here's me jumping over Jeff King for a little Snake River. And then I think that's the end of me riding the stuff or comparing it. Because the rest of this stuff I didn't really do. So we're just going to enjoy how gnarly some of the stuff that Josh does this. Like, that doesn't look like that fun, like ramming into that one ramp, but it's still cool. I like the little rhythm. I like that he's connecting stuff. This is gnarly, because that thing is super steep that he wheelied over. Let me tell you, all this stuff is way steeper than it seems to be through this video. So, I mean, in the middle there is a little bit mellow. This star thingy, sun thing, that thing's mellow. But this is super cool, and I'm kind of bummed that I did not. Again, this is 2009 we're talking, so I don't know, people weren't really doing that stuff. But this is awesome. I really love that. Sorry for leaving my cursor on there. There we go. Yeah, that was a sick little move. This is sick. Nose with, oh, and then a gap up over the end of Snake River into the yard. The yard here was basically off limits, but I don't think I probably would have seen that anyway. So, I'm doing all this. Look at this, how he links all this stuff together. Like, I hit that little thing, that table on its own. I didn't really link it with anything. So, that little move right there, nose wheelie to manual over top of that sketchy little concrete thing. I want to go back now, just because I'm like, that thing. Look how smooth he made that. That landing is super tight. Awesome. Awesome. You see this stuff, and I watch these people at skate parks, you know what I mean? But I never had a point of reference. See, he did that drop in that we did. No ramp. He just wheelied off of it. Awesome. Nose wheelie into here. It is definitely a fun little scenario. I definitely think the Alta is the way to go in there. See now, there, to the right. Ah, what was that? Hold on, we're going to go back here for a second. Okay, so you have the Vans off the wall right there. He hit it to the right, which is the gap over Snake River or whatever. And then to the left, where the eyes are, that's the face to that tabletop thing. So see how it's a little bit mellower. You know, that top of that face there by the eyes, it kind of rounds off at the top, where a lot of the other lips, like even on the right hand side, it doesn't quite round off like that. It's a little bit more vertical. And now, so here they are talking about the gap that Josh tries at the end. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I do not have the best memory, but if I'm not mistaken, Martin Ramos, who is the owner, was actually like, hey, there's a gap over here that we think that you could do. Now, I'll turn it up because we'll hear Josh talk about it. Oh, I put music over it like a dummy.
This is what we're going to try to make it like a flat scaffold
So he goes,
from like point to point. Yep. The idea is going to be to try to jump it. I think we measured it.
Says he thinks it was 70. They measured it. They think it was 70.
Yeah.
And he says that later on here that the face. Sorry, he said it was 70 feet about. They measured it. I'm pretty certain that Martin Ramos came to me and was like, "There's this jump over here that we've all seen." So I think we measured it, and it was, like he said, pretty big, regular gap. But the run-in here, as you see him try it, the run-in is gnarly, but that's not even the gnarliest thing. I think I jumped this corner like he did to try and run at it. But the face is like 13 feet tall, and like maybe taller, and just so steep that obviously he put the scaffolding in there, but we were just there for a day, and I'm like, I'm not jumping that thing. Could it be done? Sure, maybe, but I'm certainly not trying it. So like I said, I think I jumped in over there, but I was like, I'm not jumping that thing. So, and you'll see once he actually hits it. Watch this. How high this thing is. Holy smokes. That's not even a good angle. I've seen some other angles of it. So, that's it. These dudes are awesome. Like, I like riding weird stuff, but I don't have like the flow of, Josh or Colby or any of those guys. And, just seeing those guys, like seeing him actually having a frame of reference with Kona, and then watching Josh flow around it, and then seeing the stuff that he did that I didn't even catch on to was pretty awesome. So that's all I wanted to bring that up and just kind of give another perspective of how gnarly the stuff and technical the stuff that they're doing. So all those faces there, not all of them, but most of the faces are very, very steep. Also, like he mentioned in his video, please go watch his whole video. There's some stuff I cut out, and behind the scenes stuff, and I'm talking about checking it out. So no, it's very slick there. I mean, in the sun it's probably, I'm sure, better, but it's very slick and uneven, and all those transitions are super tight. And even that little thing I liked where he was jumping out of that half pipe thing. Like, think about how gnarly that is to try and, you're basically like quarter piping out of that thing. But again, being concrete, it's kind of slick, so you can't really like super, gas it or anything. So that's it. I love all these guys riding all this weird stuff. Good on ya. And Hill, I hope you don't mind. That was awesome though. Just wanted to comment on it. Later.